Anyways, close enough. In my life, I love them all. It's a beautiful song by the Beatles, and for a short time, it was the theme song to a television show called Providence, and that's where my story is going to take place. The backdrop is not really Providence, but East Providence, more of the armpit of Rhode Island. But it was the late 80s, and I was in high school. I was a swimmer, so I was popular but not too popular. Again, a swimmer. So I wasn't a football player, wasn't a basketball player. We had our own set of groupies. I worked 2 jobs. I worked for a store called Benny's, which is a staple in Rhode Island and Massachusetts. It's very much like a Walmart, but without the produce and much smaller. We had seasonal supplies. We also had seasonal supplies, and we also had automotive shop. And I was basically a stock boy. So I worked the stock, and then when I worked the floor, they put me in the toy aisle. Imagine that, someone as sophisticated as me, working in the toy aisle. It was a great job. I got to play with all the different toys, you know, testing them for marketing research and stuff like that. And I would use those toys while I swam. And then for my other job, the other job I had was I was a lifeguard at the high school pool. It kind of goes hand in hand there. So I worked the master swim, and I also worked the family swim. It was a great time. And again, I would use those toys from the Benny's. The little G.I. Joes I would glue to my kickboard, so during swim practice I'd swim by and people look at me like, what is wrong with you? And I would also go and get different little balls and toys for the swim job. And that way during family swim I could throw stuff out into the pool, and it was a great time. Well, one night, it was spring, and one night I had just finished working at the high school pool. And it was great. Again, it was spring, and it was the late 80s, so the clothing at that time, people were dressing like Don Johnson. You know, they had your little linen pants, and you had your white, you know, linen pants and your little shirts from Chess King and little white jackets. I had my Letterman jacket because I was cool like that. And sometimes I'd even throw on my tacky gold chains. It's very, very cool. And one night, I was walking home from the pool. So I had my cargo pants on, and it's not really a fashion statement, but it goes along with the story. So every time after swim, I'd lock up the pool, and I'd roll up my towel and my bathing suit, my little Speedo, and my shampoo and all that fun and exciting stuff, and use my goggles as a little portable carry-on. And then the hairbrush, you know, you gotta stick your accessories in your pockets. That's what the big pockets are for. And when I was working at Benny's that night, I had purchased 2 squirt guns. Again, I'm very mature, but I thought I would buy 2 little squirt guns and use them in the pool with my co-lifeguard, and that way we could squirt children, and lots of fun. Well, I had about a 3-mile walk home. It's really not bad. Beautiful night. Closed up the pool, started my trek home, walked by McDonald's, and I thought the night would be that much more interesting if I filled up my squirt guns. And I could use those as I walked home, and I could shoot all different kind of stuff. It'd be great fun. Just make the time go by. So sure enough, I stopped at McDonald's, filled up my squirt guns, started walking home. My route home was along a 4-way highway, and it went about a block away from the local East Providence Police Department. So you can probably see where this story is headed. So there I was, you know, in high school, not much more mature than I am now. And I was squirting all different kind of things. Ooh, trash, squirt, squirt, squirt. You know, the stop sign, squirt, squirt, squirt. And I was making my way across, and I got to the four cross intersection. So I waited for the light, and as I started across the street, a police cruiser pulls up beside me, waiting to head back up to the police department. I noticed him from the corner of my eye, and I stuck my squirt guns in my pocket as quickly as I could and picked up my pace. Sure enough, I look back, and he's on his CB. He's calling ahead, and I thought, oh, this is not going to end well for Mr. Shawn. So I picked up my pace, and again, this is a 4-lane highway. It goes right over I-95. And I look down the road, and I can see sirens and cars flying down towards me. 2 police cruisers come, and they head towards me, and they cut off traffic. Oh, yeah, this is not going well at all. Behind me, that police car pulls up behind me and stops traffic that way. So I just try to keep walking along, like maybe it's not me, maybe there's something else going on down this road. Blockbuster seems to be hopping tonight. Squeak. So, anyways, I knew this wasn't going well, and all of a sudden this van screeches on its brake, and out pops this very rotund police officer with a 80s big Miami Vice mustache. And he pulls out his revolver and he points it at my head. Get on your knees, get on your knees. And I say, they're just squirt guns, they're just squirt guns. Throw the guns in the air. So I take the 2 squirt guns out of my pocket and I throw them as high as I can. They're probably still in orbit somewhere right now. And I get down on my knees. Oh, it's red light. My story's over. All right, so anyways, so I get on my knees and I put my hand, I say, they're just squirt guns. And I've got my hairbrush in my pocket. And he tells me very clearly, with your left hand, grab the fingertips and pull it out. It's really hard to do when you're on your knees like this with a gun at you. But I managed to pull it out and I throw it to the side. And then I tell him my story. And I say, look, I'm just bored. I was working at the pool and I'm just bored and I'm walking home. And I guess he understood or understands my story. And he lets me go, but he says, I could have blown your effing head off. You almost got blown away tonight. What do you think about that? So I was like, I almost got blown away. Well, that's pretty exciting. So the very first thing I do is I pick up my pace with a police cruiser following behind me, and I get to the nearest payphone. I never have money on me, even then before you use debit cards. So I go and I called collect. Did I call my mom? No, I called my best friend. Oh my God, you're not going to believe what just happened to me. I almost got blown away. So anyways, later on in college, I finally told my mom the story. She wasn't so happy about the whole thing. But anyways, the best part of the story, and I'm going a little bit late, but the best part of the story is not the fact that I almost died, but when the police officers had cut off traffic, there was still traffic going in between. So the next day in high school, no one else had known about it except for my best friend. I was at my locker, and this girl comes over, and she's got the high 80s hairdo. It's all sprayed up with the Aquanet. And she said, hey, I saw what happened last night. I said, oh. And she said, was it drugs? I said, no, it wasn't drugs. I had squirt guns, and I did this. She didn't believe my story. So, yeah, I know, street cred from drugs and not squirt guns. Anyways, thank you for my story.